Calls the case. People versus Julia Stamper.
Caitlin Kirby on behalf of the people.
Deborah Schlussel on behalf of the defendant, Ms. Stamper. Ms. Stamper, please state your name for the record.
Julia Stamper.
Your Honor, today's the date and time set for was it a probable cause conference, I believe. Your Honor.
No, it's a pretrial.
Pretrial. I apologize, Your Honor. I have pre-tried this case with the prosecution, and we have decided to take advantage of the plea agreement that has been reached. If it pleases the court, I will let Ms. Kirby elucidate that for the court.
And Your Honor, the defendant would be pleading guilty as charged under a prosecutor's deferred agreement.
That is our understanding.
Stamper, can you raise your right hand?
Yes.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
State your name again for the record, please.
Julia Stamper.
All right, Ms. Stamper, it's this court's understanding you're going to plead guilty to the charge of illegal entry or entry without owner's permission. That's a misdemeanor, punishable by up to 90 days in jail and or a $500 fine plus court costs. You understand that?
Yes.
Understanding that, you still wish to plead guilty?
Yes.
And to that charge, how do you plead?
Guilty.
All right. Now, you understand that by pleading guilty, you'll not have a trial of any kind.
Right. Yes.
Because of that, you're also giving up certain rights. You're giving up your right to call witnesses to speak for you at trial or to have this court compel their attendance. You're giving up your right to see, hear, and question all witnesses against you at trial. You're also giving up your right to be a witness for yourself or to remain silent, not have that silence used against you. And you're giving up your right to be presumed innocent until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. You understand all of that, ma'am?
Yes.
You understand you're giving up your right to appeal of right?
Yes.
Are you on probation or parole?
No.
Has anybody promised you anything other than what's been stated here today on the record to get you to plead guilty?
No.
Anybody threaten you or coerce you?
No.
You're doing this voluntarily and of your own free will?
Yes.
And because you believe that you're guilty of this offense?
Yes.
December 20th, 2021, at the location of 9535 Chubb Road, Salem Township, Washtenaw County, state of Michigan. What'd you do when you, on that date, that makes you think that you're guilty?
I was going there to pick my son up, who I hadn't seen in 40 days. And they were trying to keep him from me. So I walked up to the front door. My son saw me through the window and ran to me. And as he got closer to the door, I put my hand on it and I opened the door. I took one foot inside the door. My other foot was on the porch. He jumped into my arms because he was 4. He hadn't seen me either. And I just held him and I closed the door behind him and I took him home with me. But I understand that I shouldn't have entered the home. So.
All right. And you didn't have anybody's permission to enter the home, is that correct?
Right. No, I did not.
Let me ask you this. Are you a custodial parent?
Oh, yes. We were still married. So I had been trying to get him back and it was considered a civil matter and there was nothing anybody would do to help me at that time. Divorce was filed after that. And since then, now we have a custody arrangement, which I have custody. So, yeah.
Okay. So
we were married and there was no custody arrangement at the time, which allowed him to do whatever he wanted and not let me see my son.
all right. So, all right, let me just ask this question, and far be it from me, I really don't want to be a family court judge. Just don't want to be that. But Was there a parenting time relationship at the time that this occurred?
No, we were married. We were separated.
Your Honor, there was
Okay.
no court for, or no,
Pardon?
there was no court order at that time for parenting time.
Okay, I guess what I'm trying to figure out, counsel, is if there's a child between, okay, let me ask this. Ma'am, how far in the house did you go?
I had 1 foot in the front door and 1 foot on the porch. And that was just, he was running towards me. And when I opened the door as he came close, I hadn't seen him and I hadn't spoken to him or seen him in 40 days. So it was like an excitement to finally see him. I stepped
All
1
right.
foot in kind of just for stability. He literally jumped in my arms. And then I closed the door behind him and I just took him home with me. I should have. I called the police on my way there. I explained the
Oh.
situation. I told them, I just want to see my son. I just want to make sure he's okay. And they were going to meet me there, but I should have waited. Ideally, yeah, so that's why I'm saying I am guilty. I did go in the door when I should not have. But mother's instinct, I needed to see my son.
Can I ask a question? And because I'm trying to figure out the home, was there a marital home between the two of you?
That was our marital home.
Okay,
But
then
we were
got a
separated. So
problem,
I had
folks.
left.
Hold it. Just hold on, ma'am. I got a problem, folks. I don't know how an individual is legally married to somebody. That is the marital home. Quite frankly, other than what may have been going on in her relationship, I don't know how she can illegally enter her own home. She has an indivisible right to those premises.
Your Honor, she was evicted from the residence in January 2020.
Evicted?
Correct.
Your Honor,
Okay.
questions.
Evicted. Folks, I don't know what that means. I mean,
Your Honor, if I can ask a couple of questions, fine. I think of the defendant, I think maybe I can shed some light on this.
okay.
Ms. Stamper, on that day, had you been evicted from the residence by the owner of the,
Yes,
all right, and who was the owner of the home?
my husband's parents.
Okay, so the home was not owned by either you or your husband, correct?
Right.
Okay, and you had been evicted at the time that this occurred, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so you did not,
Folks, I mean, here's going to be my problem. If they're married, the tenancy interest, does he have a tenancy in the premises?
That's hard to say. We were both evicted, but then he moved back in because it's his parents' home.
Yeah, so they were both evicted from the home. The divorce proceeding started in 2019. The eviction was in 2020. So yes, they were both out of the home, and then it appears his parents allowed him to move back to the home. There were some issues prior to this incident where it's alleged that the defendant was coming to the home and knocking on the windows and possibly banging on the doors to see her son. So there was other issues before this. So she had no permission to be on the property or in the residence.
And so if the divorce had been filed prior to this incident, there was no custodial arrangement?
Correct. There was no family court agreement at that point, but there was divorce proceedings already starting.
All right. Very iffy to me, but counsel, have I complied with the court rule?
Yes, Your Honor.
yes, you have, Your Honor.
Regrettably, And with some great reluctance, court will accept the defendant's plea of guilty to this charge. Defendant is referred to probation for a pre-sentence investigation and report. Sentencing in this matter will be
Sentencing is June 14th.
June 14th, 2023, 9 a.m.
Thank you, Your
Or
Honor.
as your Zoom invite indicates.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Stamper, I need you to hold the line for a moment. We're going to put you into a breakout room so information can be exchanged with our probation department, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.